Hello, welcome to my channel, Paint with Terry. If you've seen our last tutorial, you see how we prep this canvas. The colors that we've got on the palette is lemon yellow, a dark sienna, a light sienna color, a dark brown, emerald green, lamb black, and some sap green, and of course titanium white. The blue we won't be using, that was from a different thing. First thing you want to do, though, is get some of that titanium white on your brush, on your fan brush. You could probably, well, no, I was going to say you could probably achieve this with a liner brush, but we're going to do a different thing. We're going to do our standard little squiggly lines across the sky here. The first thing we want to do is get some color on our sky, and because we have the phthalo blue, we'll just take some of our titanium white, probably somewhere around here, and just squiggle across. Maybe squiggle that way, this way. Just putting in these little things. That's what's going to add the light to our sky when we blend it. We'll do that first. We'll just get our 2.5 inch brush here, or 3 inch, 4 inch, whatever you got kicking around. And you're basically going to be holding it on an angle like this instead of like this. So you're basically just sweeping back and forth, not over blending it, but just this will give us a sky, and it'll give us like some distant cloud shapes and stuff as long as we don't overblend. And you don't want to come right down to the green. I mean, as close as you can get, but you don't need to come right down to it. Once you got it something like that, just bring a little more of that color in there. Once you got it like that, we'll just take our brush, lightly fan across the whole area. Gonna help remove any other brush marks. Softens the paint as well. Just gives a nice blended look. Now that we got that area in there, just gonna do the same thing here. Get our fan brush, get some of that titanium white on there. If you don't have too much titanium, or I mean too much blue left on your brush, you don't need to clean it. But we're gonna do a different pattern down here. Down here, we're just gonna add these little marks. That'll give us some color on the water that we're doing. Just lighten it up as we blend it. And same thing, we don't even need to clean the brush for this part. Just gonna get some more titanium white. Just go in a couple little areas down here in this darker brown. You want to kind of stay away from that edge. Leave a little area there. Now that we have those different areas, you just want to take your 2.5 inch brush or 2 inch, 3 inch, and we're going to do the same thing, just lightly. Basically just touching and giving a little pull on these lighter areas. That's it. Just take out, and we can just kind of lightly sweep across and take out any of those brush marks that we don't like. And should have something that looks something like that. We'll just come right down here into this part. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the bottom. Just spread that titanium white around as much as you can. What we're going to do is pull the white color up, but leave a little bit of that black line. We're just lightly brushing across it. For the same reasons, of course. Want to soften that paint, get rid of any of the brush marks. Now you should have something that looks like that, or similar. Definitely doesn't have to be just like it, because you will have your own version. You just want to have a clean fan brush for this next part. So we're going to take our fan brush and just get some of that emerald green on there. And we can start somewhere right around in here, I guess. I'm just going to just do these little things. We'll bring it right over to that corner. Get a little bit more on there. This one we'll just bring right in across like that. And then for the next one, we'll start it in the same area and just bring it across. Just something like that. We'll have a mountain in this area, and that's why we started from there. So basically, all you want to do is just sweep up on this. We'll start right here in the bottom part of where we put the green. You just want to do these little sweeps. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to be pulling down. And if you have something like that happen, you can just add an auto color there. A little sweep up, and just continue on. Not sure what that was. A piece of hard paint or something. And so once you got something that looks like that, then just lightly sweep across it. That's pretty much all you need. Like I say, we're going to have a mountain in this area, so matter of fact, I guess before we do the mountain, we might as well do the stars. So you can use pretty much any brush in your paint scraper to do this, but I like to use a toothbrush and just keep it strictly for making stars. Works really good to flick. You just want to get some of your thinner on there. Just give it a little dip and shake it off. And then just start rubbing around in some of that titanium white. Definitely want to mix it up really well and have enough titanium white that you're not making it too thick, but you don't want it so thin, because having the thinner on there definitely goes a long way. So once you've got a paint mixture, you can always give it a test on a piece of paper. And if you look, you'll see how it's spattering. If you like it and everything's good, you can go ahead and just start shooting in a couple stars in here. The reason you want to do that before you do the mountain is so you can just brush away any of the spatter that you don't want. We're just going to get our palette scraper and some of our lamb black, or you can use ivory black, or just any old regular black works fine. We're going to start up here. I just want to pull that down, doing those little jagged motions. Now we can do the other side. Now we can just grab a little bit of a bigger brush, something like that. We're just gonna start pulling that paint down. You know there's lots of black on there. You just want to pull it down to where the green is. Excuse me. So once you got that in there, we're just going to grab a liner brush. I just want to get some of our titanium white on there. We're just going to lightly put a little squiggly line in. The reason I do the line for you is just so you can have a better idea of where you're going to put the shade and highlight. Some people might have a difficult time getting a mountain because they don't know how to really get different shades and highlights, and there is no one way to do it. It just gives you a general idea. And you just want to clean that lamb black off your palette scrapers. And with that phthalo blue that we have, we're just going to grab some of our titanium white. Just have two areas there, two different titanium white. You just want to add a little blue to it. You're going to have one that's darker and one that's lighter. And now you got that one. We could either make that the light one or the dark one. I think because it's a nighttime photo or painting, we'll make this one just a little bit darker. And they'll look pretty close to the same, so you just get a little more of that sable blue. You only need a tiny amount, because you're not trying to dramatically change it, just a slight variant. There you can see you have one that's lighter, one that's a little darker. We'll pick our light and dark area. And for that, maybe this side, because it's got a little bit more of the aurora coming from here, so we'll make this side the light area. Just want to use our palette scraper. Get a little thin roll of that lighter blue on there. I only need a super tiny amount. I'm just trying to get some color in there right now. Basically, that's all you want to do for right at this step, is just get some of that lighter blue on that ridge line, and same for the rest of them. Now you got it on there like that. There up at this peak. I'm just going to lightly pull it down. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Now that we've got a little bit of our highlighted area in there, we're just going to do the same thing in the opposite direction with our shadow color. Essentially just dabbing the shadow color on the ridge, just on the opposite side of that light color. And then same thing. Just gonna grab that and pull it down from the ridge. Okay, if you get a little bit of blue in the on the green, we can fix that. Don't gotta panic. And we can just pop in these little highlight areas. That's good enough. I'm going to fix this bottom part. You just want to grab your brush and lightly sweep across that bottom edge. All I'm doing is just grabbing a little bit of that white and sweep it out a bit. I just want a clean palette scraper. Get a little thin roll of white on there. Put it right about here. You're just going to kind of pull that in kind of an upward motion. Just like that. Use another little roll of paint, about 2 fingers wide. Just come on it downward a little bit, have it straighten out. And just carry that right across. Now that you got that on there, we're going to do the little bottom line. About here. Basically all you're going to do is just carry that line right across. The reason I like to use the palette scraper for these is it just leaves nice little deposits of paint in areas and stuff. And it's going to add to the nicer effect. And we just want to get a small clean liner brush. We're going to get some of that sap green on here. And right in this area here. Just do this little basically just tracing out where you want it to be. And this is going to be a highlight for the water. That's all you need for that area. I can just do a small little one over here. I just want to get some of your titanium white. Now that we got those areas like that, we just want to take our fan brush, a clean fan brush, and we can have some titanium white already loaded up on it, just on the tip. And all we're going to do is start up here, just do these little, grabbing it and just pulling it down. Once you got it like that, get a little bit more of that titanium white on your brush. You don't need much, it's just we don't have the green on there. We're going to do the same thing, just grabbing it and pulling up. Once you got some more titanium white, we're just going to start here. Just start dabbing in. You want to come down to about here, and then we're going to kick it out. We'll just get some more titanium white on our brush. Just add these little areas. Something like that. And I'll show you how to use the fan brush to make spatter as well. And same thing, you're just going to need a tiny little bit of thinner on your brush. You can use the same brush you were just using. Have a little bit of thinner, mix it into your titanium white. Just want to make sure you get it mixed up real well. You kind of want more titanium white than thinner. You're just kind of making it so it'll spatter off. If it's too much thinner on your brush, then you're going to pretty much just be spitting a bunch of thinner at your canvas. So once you have your palette scraper, you want to take that edge just lightly. What you're doing is just kind of hitting the edge. And once you got your spatter marks in there, I just want to take a thin roll of that titanium white on your scraper. And we can just come in here. Just something like that. That's just some shoreline water foam. And just use our fan brush. I've been a couple little areas here. So it's not all the same. Now we could put a tree in there, or you could not. Completely up to you. We're gonna do a tree. Just take some of our, I guess we'll take some of our dark black color there, mix it up with a little bit of our dark brown, just so we have a mix. We want to create a dark brown, as dark as possible, not completely the black, but not completely brown. And black's just going to help get the shadow of the tree on here a little better. And the tree will just start up here. And as you get down here, or near the bottom of where you're putting it, have it get a little bigger. That's all we need for our base of our tree. You just want to have a clean fan brush for the next part. depending on the type of tree that you're doing. We're going to do a big old evergreen style tree. The first thing that we want to do is just get a tiny little bit of that lamb black on the tip of a brush. We're going to mix that with our sap green, and that's going to just tint it in a little bit darker. You don't want to use too much black. You can just add a little bit more or less, depending on what color you want to go for. We're trying to get a bit of a darker green because this is going to be our first color we put on. It's going to act as like a shadow color. Once you got that on your brush, you start up here at the top, and you just start dabbing in some color. Maybe we're going to make ours green just a little bit darker. You could see why you want that darker color is to stand off against the other green that you have and the darker sky and stuff. Then you can take some of your lighter green. And we'll pop in a couple highlights. Now, this is where we take some of our yellow. You just want to put it out here. And with that green that you just had, mix up that yellow color. Definitely, even use as much yellow as you need to get this lighter green. Wouldn't have had to use as much, but I had a little bit of that lamb black still on the brush, so as much as I'm lightening, I'm kind of darkening it as well. I'm just going to pop in a couple. We'll just take some of our raw sienna color. Just get a big old scoop on there. We're going to mix that into the green. You should have kind of this browny green color. I'm going to just pop in a couple highlights, a few random areas. We'll just take some of that green. We'll pop in another little style of evergreen. Do this one. Basically, we're just grabbing the paint and flicking it in upward, outward motion. And that's what's going to help build this style of tree. And have it get a little wider near the bottom. Now with that browny green color that we made up, let's come in and we'll start right here in the center, dab in this little areas. You might not see it too much on camera, but there is some other color there. That's going to help just as some detail, just so it's not all one color. And we'll just get a little bit more of that. Making it a little lighter because I mixed the green into it. And we'll just pop in a couple little highlight areas. I have two different styles of trees. Could pop a couple birds in there flying off in the distance if we'd like. Or you can do different trees and different styles and all in whatever you'd like. Just getting our first little bit of color in. And we just do a little look down on that. Now we just want to take some of our lamb black. This is where we're going to use a smaller liner brush. Just come in with that. And just add two different colors to them. Instead of same thing, instead of just being boring one color. And you could always use black first and then come in with the white, or maybe you don't want no birds at all. Now we just want to do our initials. For that, we're just going to take some of our emerald green, can mix that up with some of our titanium white. That'll give us the color that will stand out on here. And I hope you found these tips and little ideas helpful. And we'll see you next time on the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day.